time for King James's college breakdown and rankings.
All right, what's up?
Had the wrong intro in there.
All right, yeah, well, we're just going to get started that quick. Welcome to the Monday Morning Coach Show. We will be covering college and NFL tonight, and so you can just play the intro again, I guess. You can get ready to do your thing. We got DJ.
DJ's in the house tonight?
Up in the house.
I don't even have his thing on here. I'm going to have to put that on. I ain't got his thing. It's on the other one.
Oh, yeah. I freaking didn't even have time to do my sounds. I have to like totally erase my memory card like every week. Mm-hmm. And so I have all the sounds like in my computer and I can load them up and get them all put in. But, you know, it's pretty fun. Like, I like that when, you know, like Mike Holt says, "Where's the myth of the week?" You know, because he wants to know where the myth of the week is, you know. And, oh, yeah, dude. That was watching all the Giants fans. Like, the Broncos just pulled off a miracle and came back. I mean, yeah, the Giants fans. Yeah, and the Eagles, man. The Eagles are just, they've had a rough time too. So, you know, we'll see, you know, we'll see what happens. And yeah, he is like,
you want to bet on that?
he's like over the moon saying that they're gonna come in here to Mile High and beat them for the first time in 30 years, but I don't know, man.
I told you, all the defense has to do is get 3 to 4 stops a game, maybe 5, and they're going to put them points up, and it's going to be over by third quarter.
They're not going to stop Dobbins and Harvey, man. Not going to happen.
It's happening. We got, you know, one of the things that they're sort of talking about here is they're saying that the Cowboys having all them picks and everything and being under the salary cap. Some of them are saying at the trade deadline, Dallas is looking at wanting to get Jeffrey Simmons, a defensive tackle from the Titans. Okay. And he's an all-pro. I mean, he's a bad dude. I was like, man, you put him on there, that's going to be pretty good. Yes. You know, it's interesting because I mean, beat Miami, that was something. I was not expecting that, but, you know, I had my 2 games of the week. I mean, I could have picked 2 more games of the week. I mean, I didn't even have one of the games of the week was Tennessee and Alabama. We went with LSU and Vanderbilt. And then, of course, we had the Ole Miss and Georgia.
Man, that Vanderbilt was a big upset.
Mm-hmm. And what did I tell you? I said, don't be surprised. I sort of felt like LSU might be able to do it, but I said, don't watch Vanderbilt because that's going to be one of them. And, you know, it's like I said, Texas, they played like crap offense. I don't know what to think of them, but they're still there, you know, and that's one of the things we'll get in. We'll look at power rankings and things like that, you know, and percentages here in a little bit, but you'll start to see everything I've been talking about. You're going to sort of start seeing that's coming true. And
right.
I was looking at they got the power index on ESPN. And when you go over and look at that power index, matter of fact, I'm going to pull it up. I didn't do anything on it for the podcast because I've got the percentages for the playoff indicator.
Right.
And matter of fact, I'll wait till we get over there and then I'll look at everything. But
yeah, it's funny. I watched some of the indicators that we're always looking at, and one of the ones was like the wheels just fell off Washington, and I mean that was the whole thing. Like I was sitting there looking at those metrics, and I mean they're just giving away. Like I mean I think they had like 2 interceptions in a row, like on the first play of the drive. That just kills you. you
Well,
know?
for one, their defense couldn't stop Dallas. They wasn't winning that game. There's no way. Uh, Pickens and C.D. Lamb and Ferguson. I mean, and we want to. Did y'all get y'all's envelope of money for sending over Williams to us?
Yeah, we need to, man. Like I'm really kicking myself that I didn't draft him a lot. I should have at least drafted him in one league, but that's what makes it fun. I'm actually really hurting in running back in all my leagues this year, and I drafted R.J. Harvey as like my RB2, and he's just not been an RB2 yet, you know. So I mean, he'll
But
get there.
I've been watching. They've been talking. Dallas. They need to get another running back. But I'm like, no, they don't. They're fine right where they are. They're saying, oh, they should trade for Lamar, trade for a guy that Brees. And I'm like, no, just stay right where you are. They're perfectly fine. We need defensive help, and
Yeah.
uh, they were even trying to link them to getting Hendricks uh, from Cincinnati, the defensive end. I'm like, man, if I have my choice, one they get freaking Simmons, get that defensive tackle. I'll make because I think they got pretty good defensive ends. I think he's coming around. He's getting in football shape right now. Javonte Clowney. I think he's a stud. I mean, hell, he's first pick in the draft, wasn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, that boy, he's something else. And they call him boy, he's a man. And I think what they really need, I think we just need a safety, and we're about to get Siobhan Ravel here pretty soon. He was that guy they took in the third round, and people had him projected as a first round pick. He's like 6'3", 195. He's like one of the fastest guys on the field, but he was hurt. That's why he fell in the draft. So if they can get him back, and he's playing really good, and then they've got their stud linebacker, DeMarvion Overshown. He's supposed to be back by, I think we play y'all this week. I think we got a bye. Then I think we pick up the Raiders or something. But he's supposed to be back after the bye is what they're shooting for. If they can get him back and he's playing like he has been, man, that defense might start playing.
Dude, I'll pick up the Cowboys defense when they're playing the Raiders. Man, the Raiders just beat themselves as just as much as the defense beats them. But yeah, that was sad. Did you see if Jaden Daniels got hurt in that game?
He hurt his hamstring. The on one of the plays, I was trying to think who Brady Jones, the linebacker. They collapsed in, and he come around the side, and he went to like he was going to throw it, pulled it down, and he went up, and as he's coming down, he hit the ball, which shot out. They got the fumble. Dallas did, but as he come down, he grabbed him at his legs, and it looked to me like Daniels was trying to move forward to get to the ball, and as he tried to turn, he had his leg, and it looked like he twisted and hurt his hamstring to me.
Okay.
So
yeah, I was wondering because I actually have Jaden Daniels, and then I actually drafted Drake May. Drake May had a fantastic day. I think Drake May was like 26 fantasy points.
Yeah.
Something like that. So I probably would start Drake May over JD next week anyway. But like we have a bipocalypse coming for fantasy, so you guys want to check that out. There's 6 teams that are on bye. I want to say it's the Cardinals. Who was it? Was it the Cardinals, the Seahawks, the Lions? I'm trying to think. I'll have to look it up. See, but yeah, it's what we call bipocalypse in the fantasy world. And let me see. Week 8 NFL buys.
See there, I pulled up the power rankings. If I told you to guess in the top 20 where you would think in the power rankings that Texas was, where would you think it would be?
Texas Longhorns.
Yeah,
I would say probably around 8 to. I'd say they're in top 10 still.
they're at number 7 in power rankings.
Okay, I'd say
And
that's
that
about right.
and that goes back to what I was saying. When we get in these percentages, we'll look at. Let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and get the football meme up,
Okay.
and then we'll go into the others.
Okay.
That's sort of funny there.
Yeah.
I like that one.
Yeah.
Number of times.
Yeah.
That's all
Yeah.
right. All right.
Yeah, it's pretty
Let's
funny.
throw down in the college football, folks. I'm so pumped about going through college football. So let's
do it.
It's time for King James's college breakdown and rankings.
And I will say this, I 1,000,000% agree with that. They did not look good at all. I was like, man, they look just freaking terrible. But hey, you know, I've seen teams that something like that happens to them, and the next thing you know, they get past a close one, and the next thing you know, they're winning.
Right.
You know what I mean? That has
Yeah.
just happened so many times. But I'm not sure about the Longhorns. They got to get it together. Their team has not been, offense has been playing terrible. But as you can see in week 9, you know, I don't like to go and say there's biases and stuff, but there is against these AP guys. And I'm going to tell you why. Texas played, was it Sam Houston? They beat them 55-0. They drop them down 2 spots. And then they win this in a close one on the road, which anytime you play any team in the SEC, it can be close.
Yeah.
And they win a close one and they drop them down 1. They're the only team I ever see them do that to.
Yeah.
But I'm going to prove a couple points here in a little bit. But Indiana, congratulations, you are number 2 team. A&M moved up to number 3, and you look at Miami. Miami has dropped all the way to number 9. That's a big drop right there. And we're going to get in looking at these percentages and stuff. And what I'm going to say this is they're more than likely going to be playing Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech's number 7. If Georgia Tech beats them, I'm telling you, Miami ain't getting in.
Right.
I'm just telling you now, that ain't going to happen. That's just not in the cards for them right now.
Well, I would say LSU's done.
Oh, yeah. LSU is, matter of fact, if you look, LSU.
I think they punched their ticket to the Snoop Dogg Alamo Bowl this weekend.
Yeah, well, LSU last week was number 10, and they dropped them down to number 20.
Wow.
Okay? So there's other teams that are going to be ahead of them. I think Tennessee, you're going to have trouble getting in.
Did Texas Tech lose?
Texas Tech lost. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know they were losing at one point. I didn't know if they actually lost.
And I brought this up earlier. You remember I talked about BYU and Texas Tech probably going to meet in the Big 12. Whoever wins, that's going to go. Right. And you see right now BYU's at a number 11. So
they're in the bubble.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And, I mean, there's a lot of football still left to play. And then if you look at the coaches poll, they've got it set up, you know, pretty close to the same. I mean, there's not much. It's that much different. But the thing that gets me.
Did Michigan move up with that win over
Washington? I want to show something here. Let me go back to this one here. As you're looking at the AP and you look at Oklahoma. Oklahoma was number 14. They beat South Carolina. They move up one slot. Texas trounced them last week, and Texas moves down one on the road.
Wow.
That's what I'm trying to show you, the bias there. I mean, but Oklahoma, you're going to drop because your schedule is. Whew. I mean,
Yeah.
I said last week when they were playing, I said when you look at the rankings and everything, and you look what Oklahoma has left, I said more than likely they're going to, if they are a pretty good team, I said they're going to beat South Carolina. But their next 5 games, Ole Miss, Tennessee, Alabama, Missouri, and LSU, all ranked teams.
Yeah. That Ole Miss game was good, man.
It was a great game.
Yeah.
I watched that one.
Man, Georgia just put their foot on the gas and just plowed right past them, because they got boat raced by Georgia, man.
Sure he did. And if you look at, well, let me go over here because that's sort of the same. The one on the left hand,
I kind of like that graphic better.
Well, the one that's on the left hand side is what was last week, and this is
Okay.
on the right hand is what we have for this week. And you'll see a 96% chance they went up 1%. Ohio State, Indiana went up 1 spot. Alabama has gone up to 90%, and I told you it's going to be Alabama. A&M's at 84%. They went up. Now, when you look at A&M, what does A&M have left? Well, they got LSU this week. Okay, so
right.
well, I'm sorry. This week. Then they'll have Missouri, South Carolina, Samford, and Texas. If they get past the next 2, which are ranked teams, and this is something I said, and you remember this last week, we're going to find out if A&M is really good because the next 2 games are going to be on the road. They played at home mainly.
Right.
They played 5 games. Yeah, 5 games at home and 2 on the road. They beat Notre Dame 41-40 early in the season, and then they played at Arkansas last week, and they struggled against Arkansas. It's 45-42 in that game.
Right.
Now they got 2 more on the road. They got LSU and Missouri. Then they get South Carolina, Samford, which I think they'll win both those, and then they got to play Texas on the road. And when Texas and A&M play each other, it's, you could be the underdog and still win that game. Okay.
Yeah. What is that? Some kind of like a rivalry there?
It's always been a rivalry. It's just, it's funny because you talk to some fans, they hate A&M the most. Some of them hate Oklahoma the most. It's one of those 2 teams that they don't like each other.
Yeah, so I heard those guys put beans in their chili.
Yeah. Hey, I'm going to answer that question real quick. There was always beans in chili. That's a fact. If you go back and you look, and when they started making chili, it was on the cattle drives and everything, and they put all kinds of stuff in there. They put corn in it. They put beans, and that's how chili was created. There was a big write-up in Texas Monthly on that. So the debate was always, but, it depends on what type of chili you're eating. If I'm eating Southwest chili, I like the beans and onions and everything in it. If I'm eating it on hot dogs, I don't want beans on it. I don't want it, it depends on how you're eating it. So.
Yeah, just so everyone knows, there was somebody that said you ain't a real Texan if you put beans in your chili. Wasn't that what it was?
No, they said you're not a real Texan if you put beans in your chili.
Yeah, that's what I just said.
Yeah.
I thought.
And I'm like, I don't know about that.
Yeah, so that's why I was just joking around. Like, those guys put beans in their chili.
I'm like, I'm not 100% agreeing on that. So, but looking at this, I'm going to tell you what I think here. I think you're going to see Ohio State and Indiana and Oregon. I think those are going to be three from the Big Ten that are getting in. Then I think just looking at what's left, this is where it starts getting interesting. And mainly what it comes down to is the SEC.
Right.
I think if, let's just say, Texas had beat Georgia, they won out, they beat Georgia. I think Georgia will get in.
Right.
Okay, that's just my opinion because they only have 2 losses, and I just think they're going to get in.
Was
Okay?
that the first loss for Ole Miss?
First loss.
All
And
right.
I think Ole Miss is getting in because they don't really play anybody after
Right.
this. So I think they're getting in.
Yeah.
So now this is where it gets interesting because you got 3 of them there that I've already named, and I think Alabama's getting in. And now the interesting part, they got 12 of them up there. I don't think OU's getting in, so that drops. Then it could be where they put Texas Tech and beat White if they both went out. So that's a possibility. So that'd be just say 5 teams right there. All right.
Right.
Now, a lot of
and
people
Texas is-
were thinking Memphis has a shot. Memphis got beat.
Right.
So Memphis ain't getting in. I can already tell you that they lost to nobody. They lost to Alabama Birmingham.
Right.
So
Well, so like Texas is sitting at the 14 right now, right?
yes,
And so basically they have to win out if they're going to get in, right?
yeah, they have to win out. There's no doubt they have to win out, in my opinion. Now, where it'll get interesting, I want to point this out because if you look right at 15, who's there? Vanderbilt.
Right.
Vanderbilt beat LSU, and LSU was right on the bubble. You can see they're not on the bubble anymore.
Yeah, and then you got those teams like Missouri and Notre Dame and Tennessee kind of knocking on the door too. Tennessee looks pretty good.
Notre Dame's at 30%. Now, one of the things I'll point out, you'll see the previous week, they had them at 15. You had Southern Cal. Notre Dame beat them. Southern Cal ain't getting in. And remember, I said that could be 4 teams from the Big Ten that gets in. I think Notre Dame just ended that for them.
Right.
So when I'm sitting here and I'm thinking about this and who's going to go in, I think one team that's possibly going to get in is South Florida.
Yeah. They've all been up there hanging in there all year.
Well, they just went from number 14 on the bubble to number 9.
Wow.
So
and who'd they beat this week?
Southern Florida, they beat who was it they were playing? Let me think about this for a second because I'm trying to remember who did they play.
I thought I saw like a little bit of the game and I can't remember.
Wasn't it Fort Atlantic, wasn't it? I think it was FAU, Fort Atlantic. That's who they were playing. And remember, I said that's going to be interesting because they'll probably win that. Then they got to play Memphis.
Right.
And I said that would be Memphis's hardest game on there. Well, Memphis lost, so even if Memphis wins that, I don't think they're making it because you can see they're not even on the bubble in here anymore.
Unless the AP decides to switch places between Texas and Memphis. You never know.
I don't see that happening. But see, Texas will play Ole Miss, and this is where it gets interesting at this point, is because they're gonna play. I'm sorry, Mississippi State. They're going to play Mississippi State, and this is where all this power index and all this comes into play. Then they play Vanderbilt. Right. Vanderbilt is the number 10th ranked team right now. Okay, right. And they're number 10, but they're looking at their percentages, and they're saying they're the 15th ranked. They got Texas just right above them. If Texas beats Vanderbilt, then if they win they beat Mississippi State and then they beat Vanderbilt. That's why I said the next week is going to be interesting because that's when they pick up Georgia. Now,
Right.
this is my contention. If Texas loses to Georgia, let's say they beat Arkansas and they beat A&M. If they can beat one of Georgia or A&M, I think Texas has a chance to get in. I think there's going to be a 3-loss team in the playoffs.
Right.
And,
Well, and the one thing that I noticed when I was watching that Vanderbilt LSU game was the time of possession from Vanderbilt, man. Like they just held the ball the whole game. You know, like it was just incredible. Like LSU just didn't have any time of possession.
yeah, and so if you look at it, you got 3 teams from the Big Ten: Ohio State, Indiana, and Oregon. There's 3. I think Alabama's going to get in. That's 4. I think Ole Miss is getting in. That's why they're at a 49% getting in because they don't have a hard schedule left. I mean, they lost to Georgia, but I think they're going to win the rest. So I think there's 5 teams right there. Then I think there's 1, possibly 2 between Brigham Young and Texas Tech. I think both of those again. That's 7 teams that we're looking at. So now you got to look at who's left here that they might be looking at putting in.
I mean, Miami's on the bubble, but man, that was a tough loss.
Well, Miami and Georgia Tech. And there's a possibility they could put both of them in, but I think they'll put one in because of the power index that's there. So that's 8. Now you're looking at if South Florida wins out, that's 9. So now you got 3 spots open.
What's the power ranking for Miami? I'd say they're still top 10 possibly.
I think let me look here on that because I'm not 100% sure on that.
I mean, at least they're in top 12 ranking.
Well, let's see, Miami 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They're number 9.
Okay.
So they got a pretty high power ranking. Let me look here. I want to just see where they're at. Yeah, the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets, they're way down there. They're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 45. They're 26.
Wow.
That's down there now. I forgot to add them. I think Notre Dame's, they went out, they get in. They're at number 5 in power ranking.
Oh yeah. Well, like the crazy thing is like Notre Dame, the way they build their teams. That's why I'm a Notre Dame fan, because they just always have this like solid running game and a solid receiving game, and it's just that real. It's tough to beat them. You know, they're constantly putting points up.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
and that's why I look at this all the time because, remember last year we were going through this and I pretty much was right on dot with the power rankings, who was going to be there and who got in, who didn't. And I think the same thing's going to happen here. This year is a little bit wilder than the rest, but I think if Georgia Tech wins out and they have to play Miami and Miami beats them, I don't think Georgia Tech's getting in, even with 1 loss, because they didn't play anybody. And you take all these teams that are playing, Notre Dame, they beat Southern Cal and they beat USC. There's something to say behind that. And I think Notre Dame is probably going to get in, and that's going to leave 2 spots. And I think 2 of the spots.
You could have.
This is my opinion. You
could
take
have
it for what
you could have a Missouri sneak up in there.
No, I don't think Missouri's getting there. I think there's 4 teams that get the 2 spots. I think you're looking at A&M, Georgia, Texas, and Vanderbilt.
Right.
That's what I think's going to happen. It'd be between them. I think because if Georgia, just say Georgia lost to Texas, that's only 2 losses for them.
Yeah.
I think they're getting in. A&M, I think they're going to get in because A&M. I was trying to think of who they have left. I know they got Texas at the end of the season. Oh, that's right. They had LSU and Missouri, and
Right.
both of those are on the road. That's what I was thinking about. If they win both, I think if they win one of those and lost one of them and then lost Texas, I still think they're getting in.
Right.
I think they've had a pretty decent season. So, you got 1, 2, 3. I think Georgia gets in 4, 5. Then you go 6, 7, 8, 9. There's 9 teams I've counted, and if Miami wins out, that's 10. So there's two left. You got A&M, and
next thing you know, you'll have Jeremy come in here. You tell me how you can put 4 teams in 2 spots.
yeah. Well, I mean, you think about it. I think that you're looking at A&M, Texas, and Vanderbilt. Oh wait, Notre Dame. I forgot to add them. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's 10. So there's 2
basically
teams.
4 teams fighting for 2 spots is what you're trying to say.
Yeah, I think because I added Ohio State, Indiana, Alabama, Georgia, Oregon, BYU, Ole Miss, South Florida, Miami, and Tech. Oh,
yeah,
wait.
That's 10.
That's 10. And Notre Dame would be 11. So, yeah, it's going to come down.
At least, so let's just say 3 teams in 1 spot and then see if Jeremy shows up and gets all mad at you.
Yeah, I think that's I think that's what you're looking at and what we got for the updated polls and what we're probably likely to see.
All of a sudden, Jeremy will show up and be like, "You show me a Texas recipe that has beans in there," you know.
I can show you a whole bunch of them that do.
Yeah.
All right. So game of the week, we had 2 of them. We had Ole Miss and Georgia. Hell of a game. Hell of a game.
That was amazing.
Love that game.
Georgia just I didn't think Georgia was gonna have. I didn't think they were gonna outplay them because they were literally getting outplayed by Ole Miss in the first half of that game, and then they just kept on firing. I was like, wow.
And we'll be able to show that because Georgia had more passing and definitely had more rushing yards. And that is the thing. I mean, they averaged 4.5. And I think, when you, and I've stated this last year, we were talking about this. I said, when you play in the SEC, I don't know what it is, but you better have some big boys up front. And you better be able to sub out and be able to keep those guys fresh. And I think what happened was Ole Miss just didn't have the depth to stay with Georgia. And I think Georgia wore them down. That's what I think.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you could tell, that Ole Miss quarterback, I was really impressed. He did a lot of really good things, but then he started making some really big mistakes towards, the second half. And
I also say this, Gunnar Stockton, the quarterback for Georgia, he played one hell of a game.
Dude, didn't he have 5 touchdowns?
4. He threw 4 touchdowns, and
Ran.
He had 1 touchdown he ran in.
Yeah, so I think overall 5 touchdowns, that was crazy. Those would be sick fantasy numbers.
And you look at their backs they had a guy 72 yards and 61 yards and 59 yards, and then Gunner Stockton was 59 yards, but they literally had 221 yards rushing, and that's pretty good. Where you look at Ole Miss, they only had 88 yards rushing.
Right.
I mean, and I'm gonna give Gunner Stockton a lot of credit here. He spread that ball around quite a bit, and he had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different receivers he threw to.
Right.
And only one of them had one catch, and that was for 36 yards. So that was pretty good. Stockton did fumble once, but they didn't lose the fumble. Ole Miss had a fumble. They didn't lose it. So that was a pretty clean game up to that point. And then you get in and you look at the sacks. And this is something that just blew me away when I was checking this. Through the whole game, there was only one sack, and that was by Ole Miss.
Right.
One sack the whole game. That is a clean game.
Yeah.
And then you come in here and look, there was no big kick returns, punt returns, or anything like that. The only difference is Georgia kicked 3 field goals with a long of 51. He was 3 for 3.
Yeah.
And I mean, you just look at, but this is something that'll blow you away. The whole game, do you know Georgia never punted?
Yeah. I saw that stat too.
I mean, I was sitting there, I didn't even think about it while I was watching the game, and I was like, God dang. And that's why I like to go back and look at the stats. And that's why when you look at this game, the game was 35-43. It was clean all the way through. And I just think Georgia when they got to the fourth quarter, I think Ole Miss was wearing down, and I think Georgia just bullied them at that point.
Yeah, I did get that too, and I did see that stat, and one of the things that I thought was impressive was how Georgia was able to just like keep putting points on the board, and like all you need to do is make one mistake against that kind of offense, and you're done.
That's right.
Know? And I think that quarterback, I can't remember what his name was from Ole Miss, but he made a couple mistakes where he just he missed wide receivers. Like there was a wide receiver that was supposed to stop on the route. He kept going and he totally missed him.
Yep.
You know, just stuff like that. Just like they weren't on the same page, and you make a couple of those mistakes in that kind of a matchup, you're done.
That's exactly right. And then we had LSU and Vanderbilt, 31-24, and you can just look at the stats and see that Vanderbilt rushed for 239 yards and LSU only 100. I mean, that is a big difference. And otherwise, you look at total, it's 325 total yards for LSU and 399, almost 400 for Vanderbilt.
Yeah,
there's your difference in the game.
You look at that time of possession. I mean, it was like that stat was like glaring at me when I saw that. I was like, whoa! I was like, man, it's really hard to score when you don't have the ball.
Well, and this was an interesting one here. I mean, Diego Pavla. When I looked at him, he was 14-22 for 160 yards. Nothing fantastic, one TD, but this is where it really mattered. He ran the ball 17 times for 86 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Oh, yeah.
That was the difference right there.
Yeah.
Because there were no fumbles or any of that. There was no interceptions in the game. It was a clean game.
Right.
Basically clean game. So something had to give. And I think the player of the game by far was Diego. He earned every freaking bit of it. And, I mean, what are you going to say? I mean, he just played fantastic. And their defense played good too. Nussmeier, he was 19-28 for 225 yards. and had a quarterback rating of 67.5, but his completion percentage wasn't that great. And he's
Right.
and he's a veteran quarterback. And then if you go in and look, the Vanderbilt, they had 2 sacks, and tackles for loss they had 5. That's a big difference right there. Where LSU only had 1 sack and 4 tackles for loss. So
Right.
those things add up, and then you get over here and you look at the stats here for your special teams. I mean, there's nothing major in there. The only big one was where one of the kick returns, they returned it for 43 yards. That was one of the long ones by Trey Richardson. But other than that, field goals are still there. I mean, LSU did miss one, but that, even if he made it, that wouldn't have been the difference in the game.
Right.
So, I mean, you just look at clean game, nothing there. They made all their extra points, did what they were supposed to, and basically had a clean game. And Vanderbilt, I think Diego Pava, I think he was the difference in the game.
Yeah, and that's what's going to be cool. So if you guys follow this podcast and you subscribe and stuff, we're going to be kind of giving you a little bit of a cheat on next year's fantasy, because King James is going to go in with some of these real good draft picks and where they're going to go and stuff. And, they're going to rise and fall, but we're going to be watching them on this channel over the year and try to see if we can figure out who's going to be like the best rookie pickup for next season. And so King James, it's kind of a new thing King James is doing. I like it. I think it's going to be awesome to kind of go through some of these top prospects, top draft picks, and see if we can kind of pick a trend where it transfers to the NFL. And like, hey, looking at like Harvey. Harvey was a pretty good pickup. I don't think I would have drafted him as high. I don't think I would have drafted him as RB2. I would have, if I would have known what I knew now, I would have picked up Javonte. But that's the kind of things we're gonna try to see if we can isolate through the college, and then kind of figure out like, hey, who do you think is gonna be a breakout for fantasy on 2026, and we'll just keep on moving through.
I'll tell you, it was interesting because I remember we were watching the draft last year, and all the draft experts, but I remember sitting there watching, and I said, man, Dallas was coming up, and they were picking who these players are. I said, man, I'm just a big believer the line of scrimmage, and I said Dallas needs a freaking dominating guard, and I said I hope they pick Tyler Booker, man, and they ended up picking him. I was excited. Everybody's, oh, that's a dumb pick to pick someone that high, and now you're watching that offense and how they're opening them holes. He's a big reason why, and he's just a great pickup. I mean, and I think Dallas has one of the best offensive lines in NFL right now, and I'll tell you why. Tyler Guyton was I think he was a first-round pick, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
And he was from Oklahoma. Last year was his first year, and now he's figuring it out, And then they had Tyler Smith, another one, and he's a guard. And then one of our other guys got hurt, BB, which I thought that was a hell of a pickup when they got him. But Hoffman's playing great center, and then they picked up Booker, and he's a first round. All of those guys are in first, second year, and they're playing unbelievable. And then the only one that they got that's an old veteran is Terrence Steele, and I think he realizes he's going to get cut. He doesn't start playing.
Dude, I'll tell you what. So there's been like some smack talk going back and forth a lot today. between me and Moss Sports World. So if you guys want to check out, he does a lot of soccer, he does hockey and stuff, but Moss Sports World, really good channel over there. We're playing each other in fantasy, and I'm winning by 5 points right now. And he's got Jamison Williams, and it's halftime. He has 0. He hasn't even got a target. And so Moss is John back and forth with me saying that all my Tampa Bay Bucks are cheating and grabbing and holding and all this stuff, and not getting called for it, getting away with it. But that's why he's still at 0. And so I'm hoping. So Jamison Williams, like, for all the people out there that follow fantasy or whatever, or even want to follow fantasy, Jamison Williams is like a hit or miss wide receiver. One week he'll have 20, the next week he'll have 2. So you have to kind of watch out, like, with some of those guys. Like, we call those landmines in the fantasy world. So you got to watch out for those landmines. Well, Moss is starting to see that he got stepped on the landmine, because now he just needs 5 points to beat me. That's all he needs, and he's got only one half of football to go. Well, the Lions are up 14-0 right now.
14-3.
Oh, 14-3.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not halftime anymore. So they started the third period. Must have started the third period.
Yeah, must have.
So yeah, they're up 14-3. So what are they gonna do? They're gonna run Gibbs and Montgomery the whole rest of the game, And so I don't even think they're gonna be throwing the ball much at all. Like, it was crazy because one of those touchdowns was St. Brown, and I haven't looked on Sleeper, because I have 4 leagues on ESPN, and I have 2 on Sleeper, and the 2 that are on Sleeper are my dynasty. Well, I'm crushing one of them. I think I'm going to second place tonight, easily going to second place. And I still had St. Brown. I'm on Raw, still ready to go. And I was winning. I was winning by like 50 points, and I still had Amon Ra. And I'm on my way home, and it's like, 52-yard touchdown pass to Amon Ra. I was like, nice, you know what I mean? So it's pretty cool when you have that kind of, talent. And unlike Moss trying to pick up Jamison Williams to beat me, not going to happen, brother. So, I guess we'll get into the NFL power ranking next.
Yep. Cue you up.
Now it's time for Willie's NFL breakdown, power rankings, and fantasy.
I actually got a little busted by picking this game of the week because I didn't think Dallas was going to do as good as they did.
Well, I got you for the first one, then we get into that.
Okay. So the Bucks are actually playing right now. They look like they could actually lose tonight to the Lions. But Baker Mayfield has just been absolutely explosive. Does not matter. I just got late breaking news that Mike Evans has been injured and he is out of the game now. I was surprised that he started, but Mike Evans is out now. He's injured on Fantasy Pros. And then the Detroit Lions, looks like they could just coast to a win tonight depending on what happens with the Bucks. Now we're going to see what happens with that Baker Mayfield magic. If Baker Mayfield's able to just put the team on his back and bring him back, he's got to come back from 11-point deficit now where they're sitting right now. So that's going to be interesting to see if they could do that. The Bills have had a little bit of a slump, and they've been sliding down the ranks. 2 straight losses, especially to like the Patriots. That's a game you need to win. And so I don't know if that's gonna hurt them going down the stretch, but they're in a pretty weak division, so we'll see. I mean, to see like the Patriots coming out as like the division leader or something wouldn't surprise me. So the Patriots are playing awesome ball. Bills are playing awesome ball. I think those teams are going to be up there top of the division. The Colts are actually going to move up. I mean, it's crazy. They just manhandled the Chargers, and it was just crazy to watch how they played. Like I say, who would you say is the number one rank in the AFC right now out of all the teams?
Indianapolis.
Yes, sir. So yeah, they're number one in the AFC, even above the Bills. So that's kind of cool to show you kind of the way this power rankings shaking out. And yeah, dude, I actually have Drake May in fantasy, and he is playing at like an MVP level. And yep, 100% Colts number one in the AFC. It's crazy. I could not imagine that. So then we got the Eagles, just been slumping, and they just really haven't been able to turn that corner. They keep losing, tight games. Saquon's not been Saquon of like last year. Then you got like the Packers. The Packers pulled it out this week. It was crazy, really crazy when you look at the way the Packers played this week. As the Packets, right?
Well, the Packers. I mean, they were only playing the Cardinals.
Yeah,
I mean,
dude. I guess they had they sat on the tarmac for 6 hours trying for their plane was delayed by 6 hours or something. What they're saying. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and Danny Dimes is doing really good too, Daniel. Yeah, I'm really kicking myself that I didn't get him on my dynasty just for this year, just to kind of help me out. So I'm hurting at quarterback. I picked up Mac Jones and I have Gabriel, and I think between the two of them, I got 12 fantasy points. So. Luckily, I started Mac Jones at like 8, and then Gabriel was only like 4 or something. So it was a rough week for that. But no, the reason that it was crazy with the Packers for fantasy was that Jacobs had some kind of illness or something. Maybe he was sick of sitting on the tarmac for 6 hours. But they said that he was questionable and might not start. And that was crazy for fantasy managers, because especially in Dynasty, because I don't have anybody to replace Jacobs. So, I mean, I kind of did a little bit when he was on bye, but then all of a sudden you're like, oh man, like hours before game time he might not play. The Rams actually looked really impressive overseas in the London game. I always get up early to watch these games. I don't care. I want my fantasy day to start early. I like it. I do have a lot of stock in these Rams. I actually just made a trade. A lot of people said I was crazy because I traded Puka for Pickens and a first-round pick. And Puka didn't play and Pickens played, and I actually won. So I'm actually staying in second place this week. Seahawks, Sea Chickens. We'll see how they play this week, but they're hanging in there. And when you watch just the way a lot of these, defensive tackles and some of these, the way that the Seattle defense is playing, like they're keeping their offense in the game and allowing Sam Darnold to be able to blow some stuff up. I actually got Sam Darnold because of how good he's playing. I'm not a real big Sam Darnold fan, but he's actually been playing some pretty lights out football. KC Chiefs did all us Broncos fans a favor and just crushed on those Raiders 31-0. That was an awesome game. We actually saw some life from some new assets in the fantasy world from Kansas City, with this Rashad Smith coming out and actually getting some carries, and he's a rookie and he's looking pretty good. When you look at what Kansas City, I think Kareem Hunt actually got hurt too, so that's another thing. And when you look at Kansas City, what they're doing in their backfield, a lot of the stuff is not real promising with the Kansas City run game. So any time you could try to pick up some of those assets. This is the first week that Rashee Rice is back from suspension. So he actually blew it up. I think he got 20 fantasy points, got 80 yards or 70 yards and a touchdown. I don't know the exact number, but he did good. So, you have Pacheco, Hunt, and then this new Brashad Smith coming up. So if I was you in fantasy world and we have this Bipocalypse coming up for week 8, I would try to pick up that running back for fantasy purposes. Then we have my Denver Broncos up here shooting up in the ranks at, is it 5-2 now or 4-2?
They're 5-2. That's from last week.
Yeah, I'm not trying to say you did something wrong. I'm just I don't remember exactly when I sent it. I'm trying to send them early, like before, so that you have them ready. But yeah, Broncos at 5-2, leading the AFC West. Look really good. We gotta quit giving me all these heart attacks like at the last minute, So it was crazy. They pulled off a miracle. One of the guys I work with was at the game, and his wife or his girlfriend's like a Giants fan. Mm-hmm. So, and she had her whole family come out, and they were all talking crap, and then all of a sudden, boom, game over, So it's pretty funny. Then we have the 49ers. I'm really impressed, with what the 49ers have done through all the injuries. They're really leaning on CMC, Christian McCaffrey. And like I say, I cannot get a take on these guys of what wide receiver you should take for fantasy purposes. I took Kendrick Bourne this week, and he didn't do much. Last week, he was like wide receiver 5, So you have to kind of really be cautious with some of the San Francisco, the different assets. Like I say, I got Jawan Jennings early in the year, and I was just going to stash him on my bench. Man, week 7, week 8, I don't know, but I think he had an okay day at week 7. So it probably would have been smart for me to stash him a little longer, but, I was done playing that game, so I moved off him for Bourne, and I was actually wrong this week. Moving into the Steelers, that's getting to be kind of a hard team to call when it comes to offense. Like I say, I picked up Aaron Rodgers, because I couldn't find a quarterback, and I was lucky to get Rodgers, but I really like the way Rodgers is playing. But when you get to all these different assets with the Steelers, man, it's rough, and then they get a tough loss to the Bengals. I don't know if they're where they're going to be come playoff time, but I think that they need to get more consistency. It seems like if you're in fantasy and you're looking for good assets, the best asset you could get on the Steelers is going to be a tight end position. I'd stay away from DK Metcalf. I've actually had good weeks with DK. I have DK on my fantasy. I have Gainwell. I have a few other. I have Jonnu. So there is some good ones. I'm thinking about putting in a bid in Dynasty for tip of my tongue, the other tight end, Freiermuth. And so, Freiermuth looked good. I think he was tight end 1 this week. So, you just can't really judge on that for fantasy with the Steelers. So I would kind of stay away from the Steelers offense, but they could be sneaky and hang in there. The Chargers actually got crushed by the Colts. It was crazy because for a fantasy perspective, the Chargers, they had really good assets. There's a lot of really good things coming out of LA as far as different assets. You have McConkey, you have QJ, Quentin Johnson, Keenan Allen. Yeah, he started out pretty good in the beginning of the season, but fantasy-wise, I'd stay away from a lot of those guys. And McConkey was a surprise last year. but he was just kind of alone in the backfield or in the not the backfield, but out, in the wide receiver room. And so I would kind of like try to get away from that. I actually started Quentin Johnson this week. He didn't do bad. I think he got me 12 fantasy points, so that's not bad. You're not losing with that, but still not where you really want to be. The Patriots looked really awesome this week, but I mean, you have to think they were playing the Titans, so not a really awesome matchup for them. Like not a really strong matchup to compare. Like not a good sample size to say, oh wow, they lit up the worst team in the NFL. But
Yeah.
it still was awesome watching Drake May. He was just solid again. And with him putting up like 140 passer rating, like that's exactly what you need. That was against the Saints. I don't remember exactly what it was. It was probably around the same with his passer rating against the Titans. So look for New England to sneak in there and not just be a wild card, but possibly win their division or be second place in the division. So
Yeah, he was 135.9.
yeah, so still up there. Then you got the Jags. Like I was really disappointed with the Jaguars, and it's really funny because I don't know that I'm a real fan of all these like international games. Like I mean, I guess it's all right. The way I'd be more of a fan is if they televised them better, because I have to pay for this like expensive plan to watch these. But the Jags were overseas playing the Rams, and it hurt my brain how bad they managed the game. For one, they just managed it horrible. For a 4-2 team to manage the game like that, I mean, they went down all the way down the field. We're on like the 4-yard line or something, and missed it on 4th down and turnover on downs. And like at least get some points on the board, and then by the time they actually started scoring and getting their running game going and starting to do good, I mean, it was way too late. Like they were already down like 35-0 or something,
Yeah.
and they finally put some points on the board. So, but look at Jacksonville to probably turn things around a little bit, next week. I think they're on bye. Actually, I think I have the teams that are on bye. So, let's see the teams.
You got next week. Jaguars are on bye. You got the Lions, Raiders, Rams, Cardinals, Seahawks, and Jaguars.
Yep. Cardinals, Lions, Jags, Raiders, Rams, and Hawks. Yes, you're correct. And so you're going to have to probably, go elsewhere as far as fantasy. And one place you might want to go is over here, the Falcons. Falcons are playing some pretty good ball. Running back Bijan Robinson's obviously the best guy on the field. I mean, it's so amazing. Like, I have Bijan. He was my number 1 pick in fantasy. And he's just week to week just constantly doing it for me, just constantly crushing them.
Plus they play Miami next week, so
yeah,
it'd probably be good to have somebody from there.
Yeah, Miami's not gonna be in these top team discussion this week. But yeah, I look to Atlanta to hang in there as one of these top teams. Then we had the Washington Commanders. They're probably going to be slipping a little bit here. And, King James has a little write-up on when Washington signed the veteran defensive tackle Javon Kinlaw to a contract that averaged $15 million per year. Many scratched their heads, but Kinlaw's 13th amongst defensive tackles with 40.2% run stop, and so that's his win rate this season. So,
but I'll say this: they put no pressure on Dak. I mean, that Dallas offensive line just destroyed Washington.
Yeah, and Daniel's right, man. Jamar Chase was just he was lights out, man. I don't know where he landed. I want to say he was wide receiver 1 this week, but we'll see. I mean, who knows? Like the way Sun God's playing tonight, man, it might be Sun God, man. I think he's got 2 touchdowns. Like one of them was like a 59-yarder or something. It was crazy. So then that brings up the next one. Commanders. Jaden Daniels got hurt, and so we'll move on to the Vikings, who at 3-2 are just struggling. They got their backup quarterback in. They lost Sam Darnold, and couldn't sign Daniel Jones, and ended up JJ McCarthy, and then now I want to say that they started Wentz. And McCarthy's healthy. I think McCarthy's supposed to be coming back, but they still started Wentz. And Wentz had a tough day against the Eagles, but all in all, didn't they pull off the win against the Eagles? Or did
Minnesota,
they lose?
Minnesota. They lost, didn't they?
Yeah, they were playing the Eagles, right?
Yeah, they're 3-3.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, they had a tough day against the Eagles, and like I say, their defense is good. So they should be bouncing back, but man, one of the big things that was crazy was watching the Bears. Man, the Bears are coming back, and they're already off their bye week. One of the things I look for fantasy owners out there is you always look at this post bye bump, and what you want to do is go out there and try to see if there's any of those rookies that are available out there on the waivers, and I would be picking up like a Luther Burden or that running back. I can't remember what his name is, but it was a running back from where did he come from?
Well, when I look at the Bears, I mean, they're going to play the Ravens this week. I mean, I don't know. But then they got the Bengals, Giants, Vikings. I think they beat the Ravens. I think they'll win. There's a possibility they could win the next 4. But then it starts getting interesting because then they pick up the Steelers, the Eagles, and the Packers.
So is the Bears, do they round out the top 20?
Yes.
Okay.
And,
so, yeah,
and the interesting thing about that, this is going to change for next week because Minnesota – well, when you get over here and you look at the standings, here's the updated standings here.
Right.
So, when you look at some of those that we've got listed on there, you're going to see the Commanders are dropping out of there.
Dude, you wouldn't believe this. I put a bet in to one of the guys. I owe him some money, and I was like, you know what? I don't want to owe you any more money, so let's just bet. He's a Raiders fan. I bet the Raiders weren't going to get more than 6 wins this season.
Yeah, I agree. But if you were looking at that, just say you look at the Commanders, you look at the Falcons, you look at the Vikings.
Yeah.
I don't think those 3 are going to be there. I just don't. And
they're big 500 teams.
It's going to be interesting because how many from the division they take? Is it 7 teams?
So what I want to say is it's 6
for the playoff. Is it 6 or 7?
Yeah, I
can't
think
remember.
it's 6 from each side, and then 1 wild card game gets in.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah,
something like that is how it works, or they do 2 wild card and 1 of the wild card get in. I think somehow it ends up that there's 8.
See, I think the Bears are 4-2 right now, but I think when it gets near towards the end of the season, that's when it's going to be telling because they got some hard games that'll be coming up.
Dude, the Bengals got that really good win against the Steelers because, they're still alive in the division. I mean, Joe Flacco actually goes back and plays the Ravens on the Bengals on Thanksgiving night. So that's gonna be a revenge game, which is I can't wait for that game. I mean, that's gonna be awesome, you know. So, and I have Jamar Chase with a quarterback that's throwing to him. So,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, the way that Joe Flacco is slinging that ball around, I wouldn't be surprised to see the Bengals up in that hunt and take out the Steelers in that division. You know,
Well, it's
but
going to be interesting because I look at, you know, I think they do have a playoff. So that ends up being what, 7 teams
it's I somehow they
or
end up with
8?
8. I want to say that somehow they end up with 8. I think there's 6. I think there's 3. Well, so you're gonna have 4 from each division. So you're gonna have like the Packers would get in the north, the Bucks would get in the south, the 49ers would get in the west, the Eagles. So the first one of every division gets in, right? And then
Yeah,
whoever's like the top of each division. So like say right now, you got the Colts would get a bye, and then who's top over there? I guess it would have to be the Bucks. I don't think the Bucks are gonna win this game tonight. Honestly, like it's not looking good for them. But the way I look at it, like you'll have one from the each division that is like wins the division, they are automatically in. And
yeah,
then whoever's record after all those get in, then whoever's record is like the highest, they get for the wild card, right? Is that how it works?
I think so.
Yeah. We'll have to like do some more like research on that, and maybe we'll do like a if the playoffs started now bracket and what it would look like and who's in and who's out and stuff like that. That might be pretty cool. I'll maybe put together something like if the playoffs started today, this is who would be in, you know, and who would, you know,
Yeah,
how the
yeah.
playoff
I
picture
think
would
it'd be
look.
good to start breaking it down to see who's there because
Yeah, I don't actually think it's too early. Like week 8, I mean, we're like right around halfway of the
you're
season,
halfway there.
and
You're
yeah, we can
starting to
start seeing.
see things are starting to break down in the teams that are playing good right now. I mean,
Yeah, and I don't think the Jags are gonna actually be there, but it's crazy to see them up there with the Colts and stuff. So,
yeah,
yeah, game of the week. I picked it like last week, and then I was thinking that the Commanders are gonna be a little bit closer on the Cowboys, but this pretty much the Cowboys offense just ran away with this one, and this is why we say that some of these matchups that we get into when you have like this is like a divisional battle between the Cowboys and Commanders, and we got King James's dad out there really fired up on this game. Oh, there you go.
it's not showing up on my screen. Is it showing up for you?
Yeah. Um,
I
you
don't know what
got
the hell's going on here. It's not showing up on mine right. I'm having
yes.
some internet problems tonight for some reason. Things are not pulling up quick. It's just everything's
Yeah.
going real
I mean,
slow.
like that like puts us in the screen there. You don't see that?
Yeah, I see that, but the
It's just black.
no, I'm looking at the game of the week stats, and it's not pulling up
Okay.
for some reason. Let me look here. Let me do it again. See. Okay, add the stage. There we go.
All right. So yeah, we got what was that final score? 22-44?
See, it's not showing up. Yeah, it's 44-22, and I was trying to go to the next one so you can see them, but it's not.
Like
Let me
if you just go in there, they're showing up on the live stream.
let me
So,
let me just remove it and let me reload it and see if that helps.
okay. But yeah, I picked that because I thought me and Daniel were gonna be able to talk crap a little bit more. But you know, it is what it is. Like you have to give some respect on that Dallas offense.
Yeah, still ain't showing up on mine.
Like it's on, like on the live stream, it's on my end. So
I'm gonna do something here real quick and see if I can get it to show up better. Hold a minute. Yeah, it's well, I've already deleted that download, so
it's no
uh,
big deal. You know, like if you just click it, it's
there it
good. But
goes. Now
yeah,
it's going.
all right.
Yeah,
Yeah, so the Cowboys offense is just really clicking. I've actually picked up a bunch of stock in Pickens, and I would have CD Lamb if I had the number one pick. But even when CD's out, he's still like the number 4 wide receiver. So
yeah. You can look right here, and of course, Dak he threw 21 to 30 for 264 yards, but the one that really gets me, Javonte Williams. I mean, 19 carries for 116 yards. I mean, he averaged 6.1, and then Jaden Blue, the fast rookie from Texas, he was 7 for 29 for 4.1. He's just now getting to where he's figuring out what to do, and then you get in and you start looking at CD and Pickens and Ferguson. That's all you got to see right there.
yeah,
And I mean,
I actually picked up stock in Dynasty and Blue. I think he's gonna be all right. A lot of the fantasy people are saying you could just drop him and stuff, but
I wouldn't yet.
I think he'll be all right. I would still stash him in Dynasty and see what's gonna happen. Um, a lot of a lot of people. The reason you could screw up in Dynasty is as there's two ways to play fantasy. You could play like a redraft, and you could play a dynasty, and they're two totally different ways to play. And
Mm-hmm.
you have to stash in dynasty. Like you might have to stash for that whole season. You know, it might not look like Blue's gonna do much for the whole season, but next thing you know, Javante goes down, boom, you have an instant number one ready to go. So that's the way you have to play in like dynasty. But then, like in redraft, I would probably drop Jaden Blue and try to pick up. There's some really good, like I was talking about before, that Brashard Smith from the
Mm-hmm.
Kansas City Chiefs. You have Kamadi Bydell on the Chargers. There's a lot of different options that you could go if you're like in that win now mode. Then you could go that route on the waiver wire. But to me, honestly, when I look at this, I could tell you right now, the Commanders didn't expect that Dallas team to come at them like they did, and they attacked him from a bunch of different ways. Just like you said, they got 100 yards on the ground. They got big plays from Pickens. CD was back too this week, wasn't he?
Yeah. He was five. Or how many catches? He's 110 yards, and I think he had 5 catches. Yeah, 5 catches for 110 yards and 1 touchdown. And Pickens was 4 catches for 82 yards. And Ferguson once again tied in. They get down there and he gets the freaking touchdowns. He had 2 receiving touchdowns. And I mean, he had 7 catches for 29 yards. He's just the outlet, to get the first downs and get the
Yeah,
touchdowns.
yeah,
So, and the
yeah.
other thing that was interesting in the game, and I've been saying the defense will pick it up. They had 4 sacks and 7 tackles for loss.
Wow.
That's pretty good right there. And
Yeah,
Washington only had 1 sack and 3 tackles for loss. And then when you got over, you started looking at uh, uh, the special teams. There wasn't anything Washington did that was all that great. But I'll tell you one, you need to put some respect on his name is Brandon Aubrey, the
yeah,
kicker. He kicked a 61-yarder, and it looked like everybody talked about it. It's just like he's doing chip shots. I mean, it doesn't look like he's trying to kick it hard, and that ball just takes off.
yeah.
And I think didn't he set a record for the most consecutive 60-yard field goals in a row or something?
I think I did hear something about that during the game.
Yeah.
And that one was like really impressive because it kept him in the game, and I think it pretty much just set the tone and kind of took the air out of Washington, what they were gonna do. Like once they saw you guys were just coming for them, and they were getting boat raced, and they just shut down. I think Jaden Daniels got injured. We were talking about earlier, and I'm gonna be looking at that pretty closely because I'm a Jaden Daniels owner, but I'm also a Drake May owner on that same league, so. I don't mind sitting Jaden Daniels if he's got if he's not gonna be 100% and going with like a hot hand on Drake May.
Do you know what the name of the guy was that he was the kicker, and I was trying to think who he played for, but he set a new record. He kicked a 71-yard field goal.
So his name's Cam Little. He did it in preseason though.
No, I thought during the game this week somebody did.
Oh, I don't know. I didn't hear that. I thought I would have heard that, but I know that Cam Little did it in preseason, and they actually put like his jersey and his shoe that kicked it in Canton.
Let me see if I can pull it up.
I didn't hear any other one. You could be right. I just didn't hear it, and like I say, I'm not all on the scene 100%, but most of what I'm on the scene for is like fantasy, like who you could pick up. Oh, yeah. It's Monungai. It's
Monungai. Okay, so somebody did kick one. I thought I heard him say.
No, I'm saying the running back I was thinking about earlier was Monungai. That's the running back for Chicago. Where was he from? He was from like a really small college, but it was like I can't remember. Like I want to say like Wake Forest, or he was from some like obscure college, but he was a pretty high draft pick for Chicago. But Monungai's out there on the waiver wire, but you didn't see anything because I'm pretty sure that Cam Little was the one that kicked that 70-yarder in preseason. That's the only one I'm aware of that actually broke the record. Maybe somebody did it. I thought I would have heard about it if they did.
I thought I heard something about it because I was like, did he just say somebody kicked a 71-yard field goal? I was like,
yeah, I don't think so. I think I would have known. Like I think
maybe it wasn't. Maybe I just misheard it or
yeah,
something.
the one that you might be thinking of was Cam Little, and he kicked a 70-yarder in preseason, and they actually took his shoe and his jersey and put it in Canton. So I mean, he's officially getting the football record, but just not the in the game, in the regular season record.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's go over to. That gets you taken care of right there, brother.
Yeah, going to final countdown, right?
Yep. Let me get over here and get everything set up.
Broncos are the winner of the final countdown for the first time since we've been doing this podcast. Pretty awesome. I've been waiting for this moment, and they beat the Giants. And man, the Broncos are just like that team to beat. I hope that this translates into more playoff wins. But we were shut out for 3 quarters, and then rallied back 33 points in the fourth. And it's one of the most stunning turnarounds in NFL history. Will Lutz kicked the 39-yard field goal as time expired, lifting Denver to a thrilling 33-32 win Sunday over the stunned New York Giants, who watched the Broncos score on their last 5 drives. So that was pretty awesome. And the thing I really like about this was the way that the Broncos defense played. They just were really playing solid. They were Cam Scatterboo actually had a decent game. I want to say he had right around 100 and a touchdown, somewhere in that neighborhood. But the thing was, he still had a decent game, but we were getting in their head, and we were containing Dart. Dart was able to run a little bit, but we were containing him and we were keeping him stopped. So that was pretty awesome. A lot of things that I thought that the Broncos did really good. There was a lot of miscues. There was times where the ball, like with Franklin and Mims, where the ball hit their hands and they dropped it, or you know what I mean? Like really, really good throws from Bo Nix, but they still dropped it, So that's the kind of things I think we need to work on. I'd really like to see him get more usage out of RJ Harvey, get him kind of worked in a little better. The games where he was worked in, we were in it. We didn't have to come back from behind, but this is 2 weeks in a row where we came back in miracle fashion. We came back on the Eagles and we came back on the Giants. So
I just want to know one thing.
What's that?
I just want to know if you and DJ are going to the game to watch them lose this game.
I don't know. I don't know if I could pull it off. Sorry, DJ. Me and DJ, we already talked about it. We're probably gonna go to like maybe the Raiders or something. Like I'm getting tickets soon, but I just don't know how soon. But I would have loved to go to the Cowboys game. So we'll see. I'm gonna talk to my boss because my boss is like, oh yeah, you need freaking Broncos tickets. I'm like, yeah. So
hell yeah.
We'll see. So I mean, he might be able to swing it for us, but we'll see. I'm gonna talk to him, and I think they're gonna take like the whole company to one of the games.
Yeah.
So we'll see how it works out, but yeah, dude, it's all good, bro. We're gonna go, man. But.
Well,
Yeah, dude.
They're ridiculously expensive. You're playing the Cowboys, America's team. Everybody wants to see them.
Everyone wants to see the Cowboys lose, dude, in Denver. They're gonna be having that ticket framed on their wall. Cowboys lose 31 years in a row.
Y'all actually think that y'all are gonna stop CD and Pickens and Ferguson and Williams?
I don't know that they're gonna stop him, but I could tell you what I saw good things out of Barron. I really like that Barron. He did some good things. As far as how many pass interferences you think Barron's had this year?
Well, what, 12?
I don't think it's that many.
I have no idea. I hadn't been keeping up.
I would be willing to bet you that what is Daniel saying? Oh yeah. So I would be willing to bet that he doesn't even have a single one this year, and I'd be willing to bet that PS2 has way more than him.
Y'all got a pretty good defense, but I don't think you played an offense like Dallas.
Yeah?
Dallas has one hell of an offense, dude.
But your defense has to stop for at least 5 times they have to stop. I'd say 4 to 5 times they got to stop our offense to win the game.
If they can stop them 4 times, Dallas wins.
Yeah?
I think so.
I would agree with that. I don't think they're going to do it.
Our defense, I just have no faith in.
So, the one thing that worries me, I will say this 100%, is Javonte coming back to Denver. he might have a chip on his shoulder, and if he gets a 100-yard game in Denver, it's not going to be a good day for us.
Nope.
I don't know that happens.
I was watching one. They were doing the film. I watch all different type of film breakdowns, and they were doing one on just the Dallas offensive line, and he was going through explaining their concepts, how they're running and stuff, and he said, "This offensive line to be these young guys on here like that, and they're already playing like that." He said, "Shit." He goes, "That offensive line is going to be good the next 4 or 5 years, folks. Y'all just better get used to it." I was like, yeah I agree.
Well,
I mean,
and there could be some weaknesses with like the Broncos, as far as like our offensive line. I know we have like a third string. We had to call a guy off the practice squad at offensive tackle. So there's a few little chips in our armor. Through a few little kinks in our armor, but at the same time, it's like when you look at how we just attacked. When it's time to play, like we play. Now, I would like to see us like do more, get Harvey more involved in that short yardage game, like earlier in the game, because once they start getting him in like those short dump offs and the screens and stuff like that, like the Giants were having, they didn't know what we were gonna do, and then that opens up like the longer plays and stuff. So, congratulations, Denver Broncos, you won. Willie's final countdown for the first time since we started this podcast, and boo Giants, boo Giants. But I guess it was crazy because they said there was just like a bunch of Giants fans there.
really?
But yeah, it was crazy because me and DJ, we've been to the games, a few of the games before, and like we went to the Raiders game. I think that was like the last game we went to, Daniel. But we. There was a lot of Raiders fans. Like, there was probably, I'd say it was probably like, maybe like 60-40, like 40% Raiders fans, 60% Broncos fans. So it was pretty crazy. Like, I was like, wow. And then, like, we just crushed them. And it was so funny because, like, we were leaving. And what we did was we actually took the light rail to our cars. So we didn't have to drive. So we just basically parked at a light rail station and then just took the light rail from downtown. So it was really cool. I kind of liked doing that because we walked all the way through downtown, and it was real fun because you come out of the stadium and you're walking with the whole crowd of people, and then everyone kind of splits off. Then we walked like through Larimer Square, and then we went over to like the downtown light rail. We went to the Central Station, which is like our light rail station.
Yeah.
And it was really cool. It was actually really fun. Like, I enjoyed it. I kind of liked that experience, And oh yeah, dude. Oh, it was so funny. And like, when we were leaving, like there was like Broncos fans like giving Raiders fans hugs, like, "Here, buddy, let me give you a hug," And, dude, it was so hilarious. Like there wasn't really that much. Like, everyone says, "Oh man, there's all this animosity and stuff," and there really wasn't. It was really cool. Like, it was the whole. Usually the smack talking comes because they won in our stadium and they didn't. And it was crazy because it was all because of basically Bo Nix. And, Bo Nix, he just does really good things. Like, the threat of him using his legs to get that first down, it really keeps a lot of defenses honest. Like, that was the one thing I noticed. He started doing that in the fourth quarter where if it wasn't there, he just ran the first down.
Yeah.
And if he could just continue doing that, that's what has to happen, And it was really funny because me and Daniel, we saw a few little scuffles and stuff and people yelling at each other, talking crap and stuff. But, like, for the most, all in all, like, it was really fun that we were, like, the dominant team. And, since that was, like, the first time that we won in our stadium since they were Las Vegas.
Yeah.
So I think it was quite a long time. Like, it was probably like 4 or 5 years or something since we'd actually won in our own stadium in Denver. Just because our offense is such crappy offense,
Well, y'all about to get your ass whooped this coming week.
We
Get ready for it.
We will see. I will expect what I'll do is I'll just come on afterwards and I'll be like, show me proof that you guys were winning at one point in the game. Like I'll have to do like a whole Weed Man Jeremy on you, and I'll have to be like, I want to see the box score where you guys thought you were beating our offense, or whatever. I'll have to do something, I'll have to get a Weed Man spreadsheet put together so I can be like, you show me proof at any time Dallas was dominating the Broncos, the great Broncos defense at any time. But I think
Y'all gonna be crying.
I think Pickens will have a decent day. I think CD. The problem that I see with CD is him not actually, like, I think he's gonna get targeted a ton. I just don't think he's gonna actually catch a ton. Same thing with Pickens. I think Pickens will get targeted a ton. I don't think he's gonna catch a ton. That's where I see that being the problem. But I think Javonte will get 100 yards on Broncos defense.
I think if y'all can stop Javonte the running game, you might have a chance, because I think mixing him in with the passing game and all of it churning together, that's a tough offense with those receivers and tight end they got. I mean, that's tough.
What was Scadaboo's numbers yesterday?
I don't know. I'm having trouble with my internet. I'm surprised it's staying up right now. I've been trying to go over to everything and it's just freezing up.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what's going on. So, anyway, let's go watch some football.
That's what it is. Oh, flash flood warning in Dallas, huh?
Yeah, we got.
Oh, dude, a Dallas. Oh, man. Well, I wish I had my sounds going tonight. It's the Dallas Cowboys fans tears next Sunday. So I wish we could go to that game, Daniel. I'm trying to get us tickets, bro. But like I say,
I know what's going to happen. Come next Monday, you're going to be sick, and we're not going to do the podcast.
You never know. You never know. Hey, I learned that from you. You're the one that pulled that move. So, that was, everyone knows you can't get out of this. Everyone knows that was the first podcast we were supposed to do of the season, and you got sick after the Dallas Cowboys lost.
I was actually really sick.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm just kidding.
Well, I'm feeling terrible.
That was actually for the High Voltage Live show, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was High Voltage Live show.
Yeah, well, we weren't even doing Monday Morning Coach yet.
Yeah.
But it's all good. Do we got anything left, or we just
Nope, we're done. Wrap it up. Let's go watch some football. I'm going to go have some nachos.
You guys just remember this podcast next Monday, and come give me a Broncos Mile High salute. And the Broncos will be victorious. Do we have any score predictions for next week?
Nah. I can't even pull anything up.
No, I'm saying, like, you got a score prediction for Cowboys Broncos?
I think I'll say 45 Dallas, 31 Broncos.
All right, that's a good one. I think I'm going to go 35, 41 Broncos.
I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I don't think the Broncos are going to stop Dallas. It's all going to come down to Dallas's defense.
Ooh, Daniel's going low, so Daniel could have the winner. Like, dude, if our defense stops your offense, that could be very well. It could be.
You kidding? The Cowboys will have over 20 points by halftime.
All right, you heard it here first. The smack talking started on this podcast right here. Give me a Mile High salute. So whoever wants to come in next week and give me a Mile High salute, I will take it next week, because Broncos will be victorious for the 31st time in Mile High history.
I'm gonna have audio. How about them Cowboys?
Dude, I'll you just tell me what you want. I'll have it. I'll put it. I'll put it in the soundboard, man. Like I'm not scared. Like whatever you want, man. You say, hey, I want this guy saying this. I'll go find the audio. I'll put it in there and I'll play it 100 times, man. I don't care.
It'd be fun.
Yeah, no, but it is really fun. Make sure you say hello to your dad in the traditional
Well,
fashion.
well,
All right. And
all right.
as always, remember, make every day an easy day. I'm out.
I'm out. We'll see some of y'all Thursday for the high voltage electrical live stream.
Yes, sir.
Peace.